Hi, I just want to explain my tune It Is What It Is, which is the title track of my recent album, which is available on Bandcamp. And thanks for the people who've supported this album so far. I've got a lot of great feedback from them that they really love it. One of them called it a masterpiece, which really, wow, that's get better than that. Anyway, so the tune, the title track, is it's called It Is What It Is, for the simple reason that when I wrote it, it didn't take me very long to write it, so I didn't think much of it at first. But when we started rehearsing it and playing it, then it started to take on a power of its own. Actually, the first sort of recording was with a big band project, which was to celebrate my birthday, and that's you can see that video on YouTube on my channel. And with big band, it had a really good sound. Everybody was really burning on that. Anyway, so I'll just explain what I'm going to do in this video. First, we'll look at the actual recording that was done in the studio. And the camera angle's not that great, but you can see that I'm playing guitar somehow, and you can hear the recording. And so it's one of the only tracks that, from my point of view, was a first take, because in the studio, especially these days with digital recording, you can do a lot of takes and you can fix things, and so things can get a bit sort of complicated. But this take we did, I felt it was perfect. Everybody played great, and it had a great sort of dynamic to it. There's 3 solos altogether. The first solo is the vibraphone, Tim Collins, and then Basti Pfeifer plays an organ solo, and then the guitar joins for the third solo. The form of the tune, we'll look at a lead sheet, is a basic AABA form, and yeah, the guitar solo only uses 2 A parts, and then B and the last A are just taking it out, so to say. And I also play an introduction, which is just the A2 part. We'll first look at the studio recording, and then we'll come back and analyze what's going on later. Okay, so here's the studio recording. I'm going to improvise an intro now, so can only do it once. so now I'd like to explain a bit about the introduction, the intro, which, as I said, it's the A2 part, and I played it rubato, which means loosely, no strict time, until the very end, and I had to bring the band in. So yeah, first you saw the chords and the melody under the video, so you could see what was sort of going on. And in the intro, I'm orientating myself around that, of course. So it's just okay, so that's the first two bars. What I often use when I'm composing, and I think most composers in a jazz context also, they use harmony, from a scale, like scale degrees. So this is the second and the third step of an A major scale. So it's B minor 7, and third step would be C sharp minor 7, but you could also just have an inversion of the A triad with the third in the bass. It's used a lot in pop tunes also. And then instead of going to a major chord, which would be the typical diatonic fourth step in an A major scale, I chose to go to D minor 7. So we changed key here. D minor 7 and G7 are from the C major scale, but it can be also used just without resolving to C, and in that case it's called a backdoor cadence. So especially the G chord, which has nice extensions called sharp 11 and the 13, they actually create an A triad, so that's the relationship between the G7 and the first step, the A chord, which hasn't been played yet. So yeah, that's what's going on in the second bar, and then it repeats. So here I did use the regular fourth step of the A major scale, the D major. Just used what they call shell voicing. And then it's a D over E, which is called a slash chord. If you analyze it, it's an E7 9 sus. So E7 is the dominant chord from A major, so we're still in the key of A. And the C sharp over E is another triad that works very well over E. It's got a flat 9 and a major third and a 13 and the root note. And I also like to use open strings if possible. So that's what's happening here. And then the bar 5 goes to A minor, so it's changed key again here. And again, open strings, if you see in the tab, you can see it's there might be a little mistake here and there in the tab. I'm really struggling with it. I don't normally use it. But anyway, I think I didn't use an open G string. Although you can do it. But I think you're better off playing the G with the second finger. So that's an A minor 9. And so we've changed key. We've gone down a whole tone from the original first bar. So that is it just transposed. Everything's the same as it was in bar 1 and 2, but it's down a whole tone. And then I did a little chordal thing to play the extensions that I have on this F7 chord. So first it's just a shell, and then so of course I love chords, and I'm sure you do too, and this thing here has a G, it's basically a G triad over F7 and just voiced. So it's a G triad plus an E flat, and then it's a typical F9-13 chord, and here up in the 12th position it's basically what was going on down here, just an octave higher. Sharp 11, 9. Okay, so now I have to bring it into tempo because the guys are waiting to play the song. So then I just start the tempo, which is around 62, I think. Okay, so that phrase is also the same as what's happened in bar 1 and bar 5. Now it's changed key again. So we're in the key of D actually. G6-9 is the 4th step of that. A sus would be the dominant chord. But then it switches, and that's what really surprised me about this tune, things that I was able to come up with without too much thinking. So A sus has a dual personality, you could say. It also is the number 1 chord, which at the beginning of the tune we never saw that. We only saw it in the form of A over C sharp. But here it becomes A add 9, so that's again using open strings. That's the sus chord, and now it's with the 9. The 9's in both actually, but it resolves. The sus goes down. Good. So let's move on to the theme of the tune, which is in tempo. As I said, it's around 62. So really important in this tune is the support that the rhythm section gives to the whole thing. So you'll hear Christian Lettner using brushes now at the beginning of the form. And it just sort of, if you buy the recording, you can hear this development over the whole tune, how he keeps building up and changing the sound, and I'm the lucky one who gets the maximum because I'm the last soloist. Anyway, so the tune, again, it's just the same as in the intro. So obviously the basic groove is a so-called 12-8, which means triplets. Da 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 da. Right, and that's you'll see this in the melody often, that there's triplets, and sometimes I don't write them, like the very first note is So that's still a triplet, although it's not notated that way. But if you see an eighth note or 2 eighth notes, there's still triplets. It's a common way of doing it. And another rhythm that is very common in this is the 3/2. Da, da, da. 1, 2. Da, da. That's the second half of the first bar in the A part. And you can subdivide the quarter notes in there also into eighth notes, so that's what's happening here. which is like a triplet again. Da, 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 da. Okay, second bar of the A part, 2/5, and then a little fill, which I did in the intro also. Bar 3. So again, it goes to the major chord, D major, and then E sus, using a couple of open strings. And then if you slide it down a half step, it's E6, which you could say is an E13 without a flat 7. Again, using the open strings, I really like it. And then you can continue it to the A minor. I think we saw that in the intro also. A minor 9. Tuning is very important. Okay, F13, 9. Just a typical 2/5 progression with no resolution. The last 2 bars. So I'm using a 4th chord here. Oh yeah, the add 9 thing again. It's the same one I used. Okay. Second, the B part is of course very similar to the A part. So that's a higher chord now, the G13 sharp 11. It's one similar to the one I used in the intro, except now it has 5 notes. Somebody showed me that chord one time and I thought that's really cool. 5 notes, and it's got a very nice build. It's fourths. We're thinking of a G chord here. So we've got the flat 7, major 3rd, 13, 9. And if you're able to flatten your second finger over 2 strings, you're able to play the C sharp on top, which is the sharp 11. Okay, next bar. Okay, so again, that's stuff I've used before, using open strings. That's a chord we've seen before, F9, 13, last bar. So when I'm writing a tune, I think I'm looking for ways also to make it a little different, not the most obvious. And I came up with this 6/4 bar, which is replacing 2 bars of 4/4, because all the phrases you see above this are 2-bar phrases. And this one is a 1-bar phrase. And again, the A, it leads up to the A chord. We've seen it before, A sus it would have been. But this time I thought, no, let's do something different. So I thought, let's go to minor. Instead of A major, A minor. So then of course, the melody note, which is the fifth, that's in both of them. So that melody can just continue. Yeah, so now I'm using triads. I really wanted to write a sort of a gospel type tune, bluesy gospel type tune, and those sort of compositions have a lot of triads in them. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. A minor, G, A minor. So that's in the key of C. A minor is the sixth and the G is the fifth. Then, so that's something you probably heard a million times in all sorts of situations. So that's a Lydian sound. So B flat would be the fourth step of the F major scale. And you can use a C triad to get a very interesting slash chord sound instead of playing a regular B flat major sharp 11. So it's just so they're sixths also. Don't always play really full chords. Like you could play the whole melody just with two notes if you wanted to, or three sometimes. Anyway, so here it's just two, and here's three. So that's like in the church, that's called the Amen sound. So F is the one chord. We're in the key of F now. So yeah, again using sixths. Same string group too. Okay, now I was sort of thinking, what can I do now? Because yeah, I've been in that key quite a long time, the F, key of F. So I thought, well, what about going backwards through the cycle? Because C would have led to F, but it had already been there before, you see? So F sus F, C. So it's sort of going backwards through the cycle. So I thought I'll continue that. So C goes to G. And I thought, yeah, I'll just transpose the A minor from the first bar and the C part and make it into G minor. Yeah, okay. And then again I thought, well, let's go backwards again through the cycle. So G minor to D minor. What's going to come next? A minor, of course. And then E minor. So, yeah, now we've got 8 bars, which is quite a round sort of number. And I thought, well, okay, where's E minor going to lead to? And I thought, well, that leads back to the first chord in the A part, which is B minor. That's another step backwards through the cycle. So that's when I thought, thank you for that gift, making this thing fit together so wonderfully. So yeah, then of course the last part, the D part, is just the same as the the second part. The B part's the same. It's just the melody. I also realized that melody, you can play that in different places. I could have played it down, but I thought I've done that before, and that's not really going to build up, towards the end of the tune. So I thought I'll go up, just thinking in terms of triads. If and then, because B minor 7 is a D triad over B, so that's how I'm thinking. What notes are in a D triad? So yeah, I've already used A, so I'll go up to D. And everything fit together. Do it again. So that's a little bit more changes in there. D major, D, B over D sharp is like a B7 chord to lead us to E, and then I like tension sometimes, in chords. So I played this. It's a little difficult to get your fingers around that, but it's the tritone and then the 11, which gives you a nice half step dissonance, and then the root note on top. Okay, so then the phrase on A minor was also up now, up to C. Yeah, sometimes it's good to embellish the melody, put more notes in there, especially at the end. Da-da-da. Yeah, and now the finale is right up high. Yeah, and there's another 6/4 bar there, again to make it a little different than normal. So yeah, that means we've got a whole bar at the end to let that A chord ring out, the A sus. 2, 3. talk about the solo now. So I realized it would be better to just play A and B rather than the whole form, for the simple reason that, yeah, there'd been already 2 solos before the guitar solo that played the complete form. So I thought I'll just reduce it and make the build up to the C part, and then it's back to the melody. So yeah, I'm starting out up here. So I was having trouble notating bendings with this software, so I didn't do it. That E you see in the first bar of A is actually a D, which is going up a whole tone. So you don't have to move your finger up to the 12th fret, you just stay in the 10th. And the next bar, it's the same thing, it's a half step bend now. What's written here as F is actually E, like that. So I like that thing of playing on one string, or moving out of the position rather than just sticking in one place. It's a little more challenging. That's a phrase which I probably often use. It's a triad plus a 4. So yeah, so it's not too jazzy. Then it's this. So rhythmically, at a slow tempo like this, as I said, it's around 60 beats. Of course, you can easily play triplets, da, da, di, da, and sometimes I play 16ths, ba, da, ba, di, or di, 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 da, which are so-called straight phrasing, meaning straight 16ths, not swinging. And then another thing I like to do is so those are 6/1. So you could say they're sort of triplet things. Da 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 da. 1, 2. Da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. Again, they're straight. So that's what I'm doing there in where it says D major and E7 sus. The G belongs to the A minor 7 chord. Then down there on the last part of that phrase, the A belongs to E minor. Yeah, in the last phrase I switched to the back pickup. Because again, it's another way of building up by changing the sound. So the solo's half over now, so I stay with that back pickup. So you can hear me repeating a motif. That's a minor pentatonic sound. Now I use a lot of these 6. I don't mean sixths, I mean 6/1, like these sixteenths. Okay, that phrase there on D major E is a swinging now. And using the E string to create polytone sound, and landing on the A on the G is of course the 7 of the A minor. Again, half step bend. It's I like these half step bends. Okay, so that's the high point of the solo, and of course I'm playing the highest notes in the solo right at the end. This so the rest of it, I go back to probably change the pickup setting, I think, to the middle pickup. We've heard that before. Okay, now the D part is again the high point of the melody. And right up high. Okay, now we come into this coda, which is just on the A sus chord, which I see as actually A7 with I add often the 11 to it, or the 4, like this sound. That's the first phrase in the coda. And this is something I think I got off Larry Carlton many years ago. Or maybe other Nashville guitarists do this. It's you bend up a whole tone, so B to C sharp, and then you add the D on top of that, so you get a half step. And then you let it off, let it back down. Okay, so the next thing is starting to get high again. So I'm on the A, and then that G, which is the flat 7 of the A7, I bend it. So that's not notated here, but I think it's important to do that half step bend. So I'm riding the flat 7 and the bending from the 13 up to the flat 7. yeah, the rowl or the slowing down, which you see there, that's also very important that we played together. So in the video you can see me looking at the drummer, Christian, and we're sort of synchronizing our phrasing. And then we get to that B minor chord, and then they're playing a long note, and I just sort of fill it out a bit with some, play the blues sound. Yeah, and finished on a minor third, and did not play the very last cut, which the drums do with the bass, because I thought, let them do that. Thanks for listening and looking. And again, if you're interested in checking out the album, it's on Bandcamp, and it's very easy to do that in the days of internet, and it's not very expensive, and you'll get as a bonus all of the lead sheets of all the instruments for the tunes that we played on the album, plus of course this transcription which we looked at today, all in sheet music, or you can have it as a XML file, so you can put it into any sort of music notation software that you might have. And you can also, we can stay in contact. That's another thing I think it's great to be able to answer questions or just get feedback from people who are interested in this music. Okay, so take care. Bye-bye.